Hi guys, Lorien here. It is Tuesday and it's the end of August. I don't even know what day it is. Isn't that bad? I never know what day it is. I have to look at my calendar. I've actually started keeping kind of a little diary, and so that I can keep myself accountable to the things that I have said that I wanted, and the things that I have said that I want to do that matter to me. But I just am one of those people that gets involved in the day and gets sidetracked, and if I don't have something to go back to, and actually I have this little thing I've created that tells me all of my business, the things that are involved in my business that I've made a decision that I'm going to do, every day. So I have a little thing that my DMO, and I've made a colored DMO chart here in my little computer, and it's all color coded. This is business, this is personal, this is fun stuff. And so now I use that because it keeps me grounded, it keeps me focused, and I just go through as I finish something that I've determined that I'm going to do. I go to my DMO and I put a check mark there, and then I can look back through, and as my day progresses, I'll say to myself, well, I've allowed too many things to sidetrack me. I need to focus on this and I need to get this done. Because the only way to move forward in life is to determine what it is that you intend to accomplish, and then determine the steps that you're going to take to get that done, and then actually do them. Intent is wonderful, but action that brings that intent into actual activity is the thing that changes everything. One of the things I did my Don't Forget the Bliss blog on a little post on Facebook today, which is one of my favorite things to do, because and this is, you can see why I get sidetracked when you watch my little videos here, because I just, my mind is like a rabbit, boom 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 boom, unless I tell it, okay, no, you gotta focus. But I love my Don't Forget the Bliss little thing, and so if you're on Facebook and you want to see that, I could use some more people that actually follow that in order to get some bennies, some Facebook bennies. But it's a thing that I write every day, and it's more like I wouldn't call it a personal development thing, because sometimes it's about health, because if you're not living in a state of health, it's really hard to have a full component of bliss in your life. So it's about life in general. It's about living in bliss, because everyone deserves to live in bliss. It's why we came. And so it's just something that I do. But a lot of the things are about helping people to get unstuck. I know what it's like to be stuck. I've been stuck a lot in my life, and it's one of the things I adore about what I do about my business, is because I can take the things that I have learned that are enabling me to get unstuck, that are enabling me to change the way I think, so that I can change the way that I act, so that I can change the things that show up in my life, and I'm able to share those with people. And then when they're ready to take the next step of actually doing something about the aspect of their life that's controlled by their finances, I have a great business that's a really easy system. If I can do it, anybody can do it. That'll allow them to take charge of their finances and either replace their income or add to their income. I mean, some people like their jobs. Some people love their jobs, and because it's a passion for them, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a position where even an extra $1,000 a month would come in handy, then I can provide people a way that is really, really wonderful, because you get to help people, and you get to, and the way that I make my money is things like this little Life with Lorien video that I do with you guys, and I put that in a blog and people see it, and it's things that you can spend your time and make a living while you're enjoying your life and doing things that you're passionate about anyway. And so that's my little. But so back to my Don't Forget the Bliss post this morning. One of the things that the leaders and my mentors in my business say quite often is to decide and not to act is not to have decided. And And so that was what my little thing was about, is to try to get people to see that decision that's not followed up by action is just wishful thinking. And that doesn't move, and that will not move you forward. So you have to do things like what I've done. There are things that I want in my life. There are ways, and so to do that requires funds. And I love this business, and I know that it works, and I want the business to grow. So there's things that I have to do on a daily basis to do that. And so in order to not get sidetracked, I took action on what it was that I said that I wanted, and I created this DMO. And that's what you have to do. You know, you have to think about what it is that you want, not what your spouse wants, not what your kids want, not what your boss wants, not what your pastor wants, not what your parents want. This is your life. It was given to you for you. It wasn't given to you for them. It was given to you for you. And so, and aside from that is your life. This is what I believe. Take it or leave it. Your life is supposed to be about you. You are born with passions. You are born with something inside of you that you must do in order to feel complete, in order to live in bliss. And those things are very personal, and they are about you. Your life is supposed to be about you. Your life is supposed to be involved in the creation of those things that bring you joy. That said, your purpose is never about you. It's never about you. Your purpose is always about the greater good in some way. And let me give you an example of how that breaks down. I have a ranch that I intend to build. I call it Broken Arrows because of a vision that I had when I began to form this place that was inside of me that I was going to build. And it's going to be my personal home, but it's also going to be a place where folks who are in need of personal recovery can come, because I believe that there are certain places where people find themselves with certain events that have occurred in their life, certain traumas, that it seems when you realize those things that there's no way out of that place. There's no way out of those things no longer having a negative impact on your life. So if you can find someone who shares your history, who has found their way out of those things, then that's a hand that you can hold. Not that they can do the work for you, because nobody can do the work for you, but they can say, you know what, I've been where you are, and I've found the way out of that place, and so here, let me walk with you through this hard place in your life. And so there's a need in me to be that person for people who are stuck in some of the places that I've been stuck at. And so my home, but in terms of the physical aspects of this ranch that I intend to build, it's going to be in the mountains. It's going to be a wild place. I intend to build it with everything top shelf. This is not going to be a place that's built on the cheap. It's going to be built with the best of everything, because I feel that I'm worth the best of everything. And so that's about me personally. I want to have a ranch. I want to have horses. I want to be able to raise my own food. I want to have gardens and pets, and I want stone floors. There's things, I want a wraparound deck around my house. I want a slider that goes to the out of doors, going out of every room. I want skylights. My house is complete in my mind. I can walk through every single room in that house and describe it to you as I sit here in my chair. And that's about me. I can tell you about the horses that I'm going to have. I can tell you about the places that I'm going to go and spend time with my family and the things and the traveling that I'm going to do. I can tell you all of that, and that's about me. My purpose is something else. I have two things besides the aspect of Broken Arrows that's about serving others. I have two other things that are deep within me, things that I must do that are about serving other people. One of them I call Your Own Backyard, and one of them I call At Cost Organics. And so those things, my purpose, are about other people. But I'm going to tell you something that you don't often hear. Your life is about your purpose. You were not created to grease the wheels of someone else's life, to make someone else's life easier for them, or to help someone else fulfill their purpose. That's their job. If you spend your life helping someone else to fulfill their purpose, then your purpose, your passions don't ever get addressed. And so there's the I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. It's not a selfish thing to take care of you, to make sure that your life is about you. Because when you make sure that your life is about you, you also make sure that your energy goes into your passions, your purpose, which is always about someone else, which is always about the greater good. And I don't know how I got off on that rant. Boy, let me tell you, but it wasn't a bad rant there, was it? So anyway, there you go. And so actually, so figure out what it is you want to do. Make a decision, and then figure out what keeps you from moving forward, and take action. Because there's always a way. There's always a path. Something will always allow you to move forward. One of my favorite quotes, and I have no idea who made it, is what the mind of man can conceive, the mind of man can achieve. And there's another one that says, you are never given a dream. You are never given a dream without also being given the ability to bring it to pass. And I believe those things. There was a time when I was really immersed in blame. There was a time when I was really immersed in my life was something over which I had no control because of all of the other people in my life and all of the things that they did. It wasn't until I realized that I was responsible for my life. Yes, other people were in my life, and yes, all of those other people had behaviors and did things to which I had to respond, but I chose my responses, and it was my responses that determined the outcome of the circumstances in which I lived. So it wasn't until I took ownership of the fact that my life was the result of my choices. End of discussion. Because that's the truth. It's hard to swallow, especially when there's been trauma in your life. But how you respond to that is up to you. It's like I hear people say all the time, well, I grew up and blah, 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 and this is why I am the way I am. Well, how you got to be the way you are is one thing. But once you get to a certain age, you choose to stay that way. You choose to allow those things to continue to cripple your life. You choose to allow things that happened 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 years ago to keep you from having a life that you enjoy and from being able to do the things that you want to do, or even to change the way that you behave so that you can have something that you want. Been there, folks, done that, and I can tell you that there is not one thing about yourself that you can't change if you decide to, if it means enough to you. And so when I let go of blaming the other people in my life and my historical events for the fact that I was living the life that I was living, that's when I began to make changes that impacted my life in a positive way. And I also have to tell you that everyone in your life is not going to like that. When you begin to take ownership of your life, when you begin to look at why you're making the choices that you make so that you can make better ones, when you begin to let go of the history that's crippling you and take yourself out from under the thumb of the others in your life, they're not all going to appreciate that, especially if your being under their thumb has really benefited you. And I've been in this process, I'd say, for 8 to 10 years now, and I grow, and I'm able to take more responsibility for myself all the time. And let's start over. I get busy and I trip over my own tongue, and so everybody that knows me well will often hear me just freeze after I've tripped over 10 words. I'll freeze and I'll say, "Okay, let me start over." And I slow my mind down and I start over, and they just think it's all hysterical. But it is, actually. So if all else fails, at least I'm entertaining, right? But anyway, where was I? It was when I started taking personal responsibility for my life and for the choices that I had made, and realized that I alone was in charge of my responses to things, that things began to get better for me. And I'm here to tell you that life is good. I mean, everybody has challenges. I have challenges in my life right this minute. But you know what? How you look at those, how you respond to those is going to determine what shows up in your life tomorrow. And so decide, make a decision to follow your bliss. Make a decision to follow your heart. Make a decision that from this day forward, your life is going to be about you, so that your purpose can be accomplished, and that you like, and then take action. Take action, take action, because how you know that you've actually made a decision is that you act accordingly. And so this is my life with Lorien for the day, and I've enjoyed making it for you. We went all around the pond, but live your life, live in bliss. It's your birthright. It's your birthright, and don't let anyone, which is you, the anyone and the everyone that keeps you from living a life of bliss is you. And so give yourself a break today. Figure out what it is that you want, and even if it's a baby step, take a step, take an action that's going to move you from where you are to where you want to be before the day is over. And then do it again tomorrow, and then do it again tomorrow, and do it again tomorrow, and do it again tomorrow. And you know what? You'll get there. There isn't a person born that can't get there if they will just take consistent action. So that's it. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.